Can I get you the yams, sweet yams? Show me the way, 'cause I got bills to pay. Can I get you the yams, sweet yams? Show me the way, 'cause I got bills to pay. What it is, y'all? It's your girl, Black Pop. AKA so baby. AKA Hazuka. And you know, tuned in So Talk TV. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. And happy Sagittarius season. You know, as you can see, I'm in a more happier, jolly mood. I wonder why. Because I'm Sagittarius. And you know, I know, once again, I just feel the need to remind people, you know, it's like one of the first years without the whole COVID around certain things. You know, you can be happy. And I understand certain things in your life happen. And around this time of the year, people choose to be depressed and sad. But, you know, life goes on. You know, things happen to everybody every day. And it's just the fact that it's just the American way. You know, in this country, around the end of the year, each month is something to celebrate. Really, because we're getting closer to the end of the year, you know. Thanksgiving, it's not really about what it represents, but to most Americans, it's just a good reason to come together and eat a lot of good food together and catch up and be merry, you know. Christmas time, a good reason to decorate your house and, you know, wear nice fuzzy sweaters and nice fuzzy socks and, you know, go Christmas caroling and drink hot cocoa and watch Christmas movies. And, you know, I can see myself like later in life, if, you know, I get married and stuff like that, have my kids and my husband, and I'm gonna be Mrs. Santa Claus, and then after all the kitties go to bed, and it's like, I'm just like, you know, Santa, I'm just glad to be your favorite little helper, you know, I got some cookies that you can milk, you know, like that stuff. And then New Year's, it's the end of the year, man, we made it through. It's just a good excuse to celebrate, be happy, and be merry. Like, I know a lot of us lose people, blah, blah, blah. But eventually, you're going to have to get over it. I don't know how else to put it, you know. And, yeah. So, on today's show, we're going to be talking about how failure and pain centers you while following your bliss connects you to the universal mind. And, of course, we've all had encounters with pain and failure. And in an interesting way, it pushes you to be better and learn more. But we've also have had encounters with serendipity and coincidence and moments where you were thinking something and somebody says it, or you were thinking something and you see it and you're down on your last and you don't know where you're going to get the next anything from, and someone comes with that very thing that you need and you're just like, how the did you know I needed this? You know? And an example of following your bliss, you know, I have a little story time of that. A couple years back when downtown Silver Spring Fillmore was very new and Meek Mill was brand new artist, hottest thing out, right? And a friend and I wanted to go to his concert, but we had no money. You know, that week we had smoked it all the way, partied it off. You know how it is when you're a kid, like. And we were just like, look, we just gonna dress up, be some bad bitches, see if we could get in some way, somehow, somebody gonna be nice to us, whatever. You know, so we get down to Fillmore, looking cute, whatever. You know, the line is moving in pretty quickly. We just out there. We weren't out there for very long, and, you know, it's coming to the end of the line, and people are going in, and I'm just looking at her, she's looking at me, and I'm just like, what are we gonna do? And she was like, just wait right here. I'm gonna go get some Capones, right? Waited. And then, lo and behold, what do I see riding down the street? Like a matte Maybach, tinted windows riding down the street slowly. I see somebody blowing a kiss at me through the window, and I'm just like, who's Who's that? I'm getting closer to the car. I see this heavy, bright, big ass chain. I'm just like, it's Meek Mill. It's Meek Mill. It's Meek Mill. Oh my God, I'm trying to get in there. Going crazy. You know, I'm trying to get in the car. He's trying to say something, whatever. He's trying to communicate with me. I'm not hearing him. He's not understanding. And either way, he has to go to his show. So it's like, man. And then I'm just like, damn, how we gonna get in? I just met this man. Well, at least I met him. I you not. Why the did 93.9 WKYS come around the corner and was like, hey, here's some free tickets. Enjoy the show. Swear to God, may God strike me down right now. And then here comes my friend with the Capone, and I'm like, bitch, Meek Mill just rolled past me, and I got free tickets ready to. You know, we going crazy. We get in the show, we get to the front, he sees us, we smoking, we looking cool, trying to figure out a way, how are we gonna get on this tour bus? Right? So we trying to plot our way. And we was like, okay, so we're gonna leave a little early so we can go to the back, see what the back, you know. So we leave the concert a little bit early, and then we see the tour bus guy, and then you know, back in the day, we were really young. We didn't know what this industry was about and like the girls of the industry was about. You know, we thought maybe he would like us for who we are and stupid like that, right? And then we talked to the guy on the bus like, oh yeah, y'all can get on here. Are y'all showing? And we were like, what's showing? And then he's laughing at us like, these girls don't even know, right? And then he was like, you know, meet us at the club. We better go to the club. Da, 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 da. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, show's over. Wale comes out. I grab his hand, and then we make it to the show. We go to the club. You know, my friend goes in, and then club shut down. But moral of the story is we were following our bliss because that's really what we wanted, and it's exactly what we got. And through following your bliss, you are able to get certain wishes and desires granted to you. But also with connecting with your pain, you're able to connect with the world in a certain way because someone who connected with their pain knows that you needed that because it helped them in a way. And honestly, the pain of a breakup versus the pain of not getting drafted for the team, not getting selected to be the lead of the role is two different pains. You know you're going to see that girl again, and you're going to see him again. So because that, you're going to get your money up, you're going to get you a car, you're going to ride past her at the bus stop with a new girl, you know, and you know, you as a girl, you're going to try to get fine, lose some weight, accidentally text him as a reason to, an excuse to see him again so you can see how fine you got, you know. But when you don't get drafted for the team, when you don't get selected to the role, it's like, what's the point of living, you know? Because you quit your job for this. You moved to this state because you just knew that you were going to get, you know, selected for this role, and it didn't happen. Now you got to go back to your mama's house, you know? And through that pain, truly, you get to see how pain is one of the alchemies to productivity. You know, when you speak to your therapist and you see your doctor and you see these athletes and entertainers, you're literally watching them connect with their pain, you know, because somebody went there and somebody helped them, and they realized that this helps with their pain, and a lot of people needed this. And in society, they give you the rules of how to survive, or they ostracize you, you know. And as creatives, if we can't create and express, it's like we die. It's like, just take my legs. There's no point of living, you know. Some of us are just wired that way to pull from within in a certain way, then it is easier to be told what to do. And essentially, everyone is naturally artists and creatives. It's just that destiny has a way of giving specific people a certain pattern in their life where it's easier to follow their natural inclinations, to where even if they fail, they still get repaid spiritually. And in that, they stay connected to that passion, to following their inclinations. And that's why the greatest works of art connect with people when it comes from pain. You know, it comes from the pain of following your bliss, your inner shadow, your dark side, you know, because essentially you're trying to heal yourself. You know, it's more impactful when it comes from pain, because when you're coming from when everything's all great, problem solved, you have nothing to solve. It's already solved. And it probably won't be as impactful when you're all happy than when you're creating from a place that you're trying to solve something, when you're trying to answer certain questions. And the greatest stories come from redemption stories. They don't start from on high. And in following your bliss, pay attention to when your body increases its attention. It's telling you, I like this. We need to keep doing this. You know, don't look at me. Look at the thing that I have and the thing that you have, which is the brain. What is the brain for? The brain is used for absorbing information. And it's a magical thing when you find a field that fits your inclinations, because when you find a field that fits your inclinations, the speed of your learning process triples. And in the Book of Mastery by Robert Greene, he says, it's not about choosing one subject over the other, but it's about those two subjects or three subjects that you love and the connection in between those subjects that forms a new knowledge. For an example, Leonardo da Vinci. You know, Leonardo was an amazing artist, not because he only studied painting, but because he implemented science into his painting. You know, Leonardo would study optics, which is the study of light. He would study the flow of water, and he would study perspective and geometry for the sake of improving his art. And he also studied the anatomy to the point that he started digging up dead bodies to dissect the bodies and dissecting dead animals, because he thought, how could he understand the body if he didn't know what was inside of it? And a lot of artists back then weren't interested in science like Leonardo was. And that's the key. He wasn't just good at art. And you'd probably be like, dude, like, why are you studying the body? You could be practicing drawing. But with Leonardo studying the body, it makes his drawings better because it gives him an advantage, because he can draw things that other people can't draw. And with Leonardo studying optics, which is the study of light and shadows, it gives his drawing more volume and dimension. While other people were just focused on drawing, he was focused on art and science and the study of light and shadow. It wasn't necessary, but because he studied that, he could have been drawing for 10 years versus an artist who was drawing for 20 years. And if the artist of 20 years didn't study optics and science, Leonardo was just going to be better than the artist of 20 years because his knowledge was more diverse. And in the Book of Mastery by Robert Greene, he says, there comes a time when someone's knowledge is so diverse that it reflects nature itself, that as a result, you get to see secrets that are hidden to other people. And it's so true, because that's an example of when someone discovers something and you're just like, why didn't I think of that? And it's not that you couldn't think of it. It's just that you have to know this and this and this and this and this, and think about them so much that at a point, there just comes a point where they just naturally collide. And that collision is the form of a new knowledge. Like, oh, I just got a new idea. And that collision is the birth of a new knowledge, because you specialize in so many different fields. That's what makes you unique. And with having knowledge so diverse, it's as if you were the only one discovering this secret. Like, you were born to discover it. Why? Because you're following your inclinations. What's that discovery? What's that secret? I don't know. You have to find that out. For instance, like, something I recently discovered about zodiac signs is that even the weather reflects that person's personality. Like Gemini. What's Gemini? You know, in that season, it's raining, it's thunder, it's windy, and then it has a beautiful bright day, and then tornadoes, and then the flowers come out. You just never know. They're very hands-on. You know, Sagittarius, it's cold outside, it's snowy, but on the inside, it's a nice, warm, snuggly house with lights and creation, and it's cold outside. You just can't walk into nobody's house. We got to see who you are, you know. And even in Scorpio season, it's a lot of killings that go on. It's like life or death, this or that, you know. And Capricorn season, it's like the new year. Okay, time to set new goals. Time to let's get back to work. You know, they to go. They climbing that mountain. They're working towards something. And even looking at Nicki Minaj. Nicki didn't want to be a rapper at first. She wanted to act, but for some reason it didn't go out as planned, and she implemented her acting into rapping when she became Barbie and Roman, and you know, that's what made her different. But at the same time, you know, we see why she can't reinvent herself, because she stole from Kim. You know, I don't know what it is, why she's not opening up her mind like I feel like a Sagittarius would. But it's like, come on, Nicki, you're still repackaging and remixing the same stuff you've always been doing. As to where Beyonce is always giving, always evolving in another way. Drake is always evolving, you know. And that's just something that I recently discovered. And now that I'm thinking about this and saying it, when I do think about Sagittarius, there is a part of us that never changes. Like, it could be to our detriment in a way, but some people could see it as a detriment, and some people could see it as, this is just who she's always going to be. And in a sense, it may just be that, you know. Yeah, there's a part of us that doesn't grow up. And zodiac sign aside, it's not about what you believe and what time you were born. It's really about having diverse knowledge and learning new things, because if you just stay in one field, you're just regurgitating the same information over and over like an unfiltered swamp. And you can see that today in certain systematic fields like the school system. They definitely need to implement mental health in younger grades. You know, not just the people for the stop bullying come once a year. No, they really need to implement it in a certain way that they're always like learning about this weekly. And even the government system, you know, that needs to be updated. The world is not what it was when they first wrote out certain things. The work system, no, the customer is not always right. And when they think that way, they take advantage of workers. And it's just like, yes, study certain things, study something, and really go deep into it. Don't just study it like, oh, I'm just doing it on the side. No, go in and understand it inside out until your brain is ready to try something new. And from what you learn from that, you can put it on to the next thing you're learning and remix it in a certain way that forms a new knowledge. And in not expanding your knowledge space, you're limiting yourself, you know. You gotta wake up that part of you that's dead, that part of you that stopped learning. You know, wake up that part of you that's struggling to learn something, that activity that wakes you up. Wake up that part of you that's actively learning, that's struggling to learn, because in those moments, new ideas come.